Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chet Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Maharaj Nimi meets the 9 Yogendras, text number 53 onwards. Tribhuvan Vibhava Hetve Kunthas Mritti Raja Ajitatma Suradibhir Virmikraya Nachalati Bhagvat Padhar Vindala Lava Nimishardham Api Yasa Vaishnavagreha. The lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are sought even by the greatest of demigods, such as Brahma and Shiva, who have all accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a life and soul. A pure devotee of the Lord can never forget those lotus feet in any circumstance. He will not give up his shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord for a single moment. Indeed, not for half a moment, even in exchange for the benediction of ruling and enjoying the opulence of the entire universe. Wow. He will not give up his shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord for a single moment. And then he says, not even for a half a moment. Even in exchange for the benediction of ruling and enjoying the opulence of the entire universe. Such a devotee of the Lord is considered the best of the Vaishnavas. Wow. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, one may ask, if one were able to gain the opulence of the entire universe in exchange for leaving the Lord's lotus feet for just half a moment, what would be the harm in leaving the Lord's lotus feet for such an insignificant amount of time? The answer is given by the word Akuntha Smriti. It's simply impossible for a pure devotee to forget the lotus feet of the personality of God, since everything that exists is in fact an expansion of the Supreme Lord. Since nothing is separate from the Supreme Lord, a pure devotee of the Lord cannot think of anything but the Lord. Nor can a pure devotee contemplate ruling or enjoying universal opulence. Even if given all the opulence of the universe, he would immediately offer it at the lotus feet of the Lord and return to his position of a humble servant of the Lord. He does not want to give up even half a moment. He says, no, I cannot give it up. The words Ajitatma Suradibhir Vimrigyat are very significant in this verse. The lotus feet of Lord Krishna are so opulent that even the lords of all material opulence, namely Brahma and Shiva, as well as the other demigods, are always searching for a glimpse of the Lord's lotus feet. The word Vimrigyat indicates that the demigods are not actually able to see the lotus feet of the Lord, but are endeavoring to see them. An example of this is given in the 10th canto, and Lord Brahma offers prayers to Vishnu, begging the Lord to rectify the disturbances on the earth. So they are always endeavoring to see the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotee who has offered his soul to me does not want anything if it is separate from me, not the position of the supreme demigod of the universe, Brahma, nor that of Lord Indra, nor kingship over the entire earth or even the lower planetary systems, nor the mystic perfections of yoga, not even freedom from the cycle of rebirth. If it is separate from Krishna, he doesn't want any of this, doesn't care. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the word Ajitatma can also be taken to mean Ajitendriya, or those whose senses are uncontrolled. Although the demigods are all to be respected as devotees of Lord Vishnu, the absence of gross material discomfort in the higher planetary systems makes them tend to become affected by the worldly concept of life, and sometimes they experience some spiritual difficulty due to the gorgeous material facilities available to them. Such disturbances, however, cannot exist within the mind of a pure devotee of the Lord, as indicated in this verse by the word Akuntha Smriti. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we can understand from this verse that since none of the material facilities available in any of the universal planetary systems can distract a pure devotee of the Lord, such a devotee can never possibly fall or become inimical to the Lord's service. So this is how strong these devotees, the best of the Vaishnavas. And in the shloka, and the mention is lava nimishardham api. Of course, in a translation it said moment. But love is 48th of a second. And nimish is 3 times of that. So 1/16th of a second is nimish. And see the thing, Nimi Maharaj is asking these questions. And Nimi Maharaj is in charge of our blinking of the eye. So that is called Nimesh. The blinking of the time that it takes to blink an eye is Nimesh. And Nimi Maharaj is controller of that blinking of eyes of every living entity. And to give him that aspect, so sage is saying that even for half a moment, nimishartha, love nimishartham api, ardham of nimish, even for that much time, a devotee does not want to give up the lotus feet. Such a wonderful shloka. And how much time do we waste? Forget about nimishartha or minutes, seconds or minutes or hours. We waste weeks and months and years and lifetimes being away from Krishna. Bhagavad Uru Vikramangri Shakha Nakmani Chandrikaya Nirastatape Hrivi Katham Upasidatam Panasa Prabhavati Chandra Ivodite Arkatapaha. How can the fire of material suffering continue to burn the hearts of those who worship the Supreme Lord? The Lord's lotus feet have performed innumerable heroic deeds, and the beautiful nails on his toes resemble valuable jewels. The effulgence emanating from those nails resembles cooling moonshine, for it instantly relieves the suffering within the heart of the pure devotee. Just as the appearance of the moon's cooling light relieves the burning heat of the sun. When the moon rises, the expansion of its rays drive away the distress of the sun's fierce heat. Similarly, the cooling rays emanating from the lotus nails of the personality of Godhead's lotus feet vanquish all distress for the Lord's pure devotee. So cooling rays, so once devotee even only looks at the lotus feet of the Lord, all his distresses are gone. Forget about when he takes shelter of his lotus feet. According to the Vaishnava commentators, it is to be understood from this verse that material lust, exemplified by uncontrolled sexual desire, is exactly like a blazing fire. The flames of this fire burn to ashes the peace and happiness of the conditioned souls, who perpetually wanders in 8,400,000 species of life, vainly struggling to extinguish this intolerable fire. The pure devotees of the Lord place the Lord's cooling jewel-like lotus feet within their hearts, and thus all of the pain and suffering of material existence are extinguished. So pain and suffering of material existence, and it's explained here, It starts with the sexual desires, uncontrolled sexual desires. And it burns like a blazing fire and burns so much that it burns to ashes the peace and happiness of the conditioned soul. It's so intolerable. But jewel-like lotus feet of the Lord, it just removes all this pain and suffering. The word Uru Vikramangri indicates that the Lord's lotus feet are quite heroic. Shri Krishna is famous for his incarnation as Vama, the dwarf Brahman, who extended his beautiful toes up to the outer limits of the universe and perforated the universal shell, thus bringing the waters of the holy Ganges into the universe. Similarly, when Krishna was entering the city of Mathura to challenge the demoniac king Kansa, and his entrance was impeded by a ferocious elephant named Pida, Lord Krishna kicked the elephant to death and peacefully entered the city gates. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are so exalted that the Vedic literatures state that the entire material manifestation rests beneath his lotus feet. Samashrita ye pad pallava plavam mahatpadam ye punna yasho murare. So all the entire material manifestation rests beneath his lotus feet. And we think we are somebody big. And speaking about taking shelter of the cooling rays of the lotus feet of the Lord, and this is a beautiful bhajan by Lord Nityananda. Nitai Pad Kamala, Koti Chandra Sushitala. Koti means millions, we can say, or crore. Koti Chandra Sushitala. They are as cooling as Koti Chandra. Because they remove all this struggle and pains and davanal of this material world. Visrijati hridayam na yasya saksha dhare ravasha api hito api aghogha nasha pranaya rashanaya dhritangri padmaha sabhavati bhagvat pradhana uktaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind to the conditioned souls that if they call upon him by speaking his holy name, even unintentionally or unwillingly, the Lord is inclined to destroy innumerable sinful reactions in their hearts. The Lord is so kind. Therefore, when a devotee who has taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet chants the holy name of Krishna with genuine love, the Lord can never give up the heart of such a devotee. One who has thus bound the Supreme Lord's lotus feet within his heart with the ropes of love is to be known as Bhagavad Pradhana, the most exalted devotee of the Lord. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the essence of pure devotee's qualifications is given in this verse. A pure devotee is one who has attracted the Lord by his love so that the Lord cannot give up the devotee's heart. He cannot run away. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the word Sakshat in this verse indicates that a pure devotee has realized knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having given his heart to the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is all attractive in six opulences, including beauty. A pure devotee can never be attracted by the fleshy bags of women's breasts or by hallucinations of so-called society, friendship, and love within the material world. Therefore, his clean heart becomes a suitable abode for the Supreme Lord. A gentleman will live only in a clean place. He will not live in a polluted, contaminated place. Educated people in the Western countries are now greatly protesting the pollution of water and air by urban industrial enterprises. People are demanding the right to live in a clean place. Similarly, Lord Krishna is a supreme gentleman, and therefore he will not live in a polluted heart, nor will he appear within the polluted mind of a conditioned soul. When a devotee surrenders to Lord Krishna and becomes a lover of the Lord by direct realization of Krishna's all attractive nature, the Lord makes his residence in the clean heart and mind of such a pure devotee. And how to get this clean heart? What's a clean heart? Clean heart means no anarthas, no contamination, a pollution of unwanted material desires. That's a clean heart. So, how do we get rid of those? We cannot. Only Krishna can clean. So, it's a very conundrum then. Krishna can clean, but Krishna will not live or come to a heart which is clean. So his holy name, so although his holy name is not different from the Lord, but his holy name is more merciful than the Lord. So when we chant, the first thing that happens, Mahaprabhu said was, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The chitta will be cleansed, marjanam, completely marjanam. The mirror of the heart will be cleansed by what? Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chanting of the holy name. Chanting. And when the real chanting comes out, and here it is said, even if it is not real, even if if the call upon him by speaking his holy name, even unintentionally or unwillingly, the Lord is inclined to destroy innumerable sinful reactions in their hearts. That's his mercy. Even if we are unintentional, even somebody's name, Ajamil chanted is not even chanted, he was calling his son. But the name was of Narayan. So it just purified everything. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, if a devotee is absorbed in the loving transcendental service of Krishna, directly or indirectly, he is always glorifying the Lord by transcendental loving service. Therefore, even if he chants the holy name of Krishna with improper attention due to being absorbed in the Lord's service, the mercy of the Lord purifies his heart of all sinful reactions. Not just reactions, all the sinful desires also. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, etad nirvidyamanana vichitam akutobhaya. O King, constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is a doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Therefore, if one has not come to the platform of loving devotion service, chants the holy name of Krishna, he will also be gradually freed from all sinful reactions. In the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the purpose to the history of Ajamil, Srila Prabhupada has elaborately explained the holy name's potency to purify even an ordinary person. Of course, one who is chanting, he cannot be an ordinary person. But outwardly, even if it is an ordinary person, completely purifies the holy name. That's why it's so powerful. Namna makari bahuda nij sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane akala. Krishna has invested all his energies. He himself is there in the holy names. And there is no niyamita smarane nakala. There is no niyam or rules of what time we can chant, what position, what situation we are, we can chant. Anytime, any day, any place. That's why this chanting of the holy name, it's so easy and so potent at the same time. We cannot take Bhagavad Gita everywhere and read. We cannot take Srimad Bhagavatam everywhere and read. We cannot take the deities everywhere. But the holy name, anytime, any place, anywhere, we can chant. Even without beads. Beads is there for us to keep the count, so we don't, that this is minimum, I have to chant. But chanting is not dependent on the beads. Anytime, anywhere we can chant. And it's so powerful. Holy names is so powerful that anybody who has even chanted unintentionally, unwillingly, his sinful reactions are gone. How merciful. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has nicely explained the process of bringing the Supreme Lord under control. By the Yashoda-bound child Krishna to a grinding mortar with a rope. Krishna, being attracted by the inconceivable love of his devotees, allowed himself to be bound. Therefore, the Lord Krishna binds all the conditioned souls by the chains of his illusory potency, Maya. If those same conditioned souls become pure devotees of the Lord, they can in turn bind Krishna by the chains of love of God. And their binding is so powerful, Krishna can never leave the hearts, because they bind Krishna in their hearts. And Krishna just cannot leave the hearts of his devotees. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all the world's inauspicious conditions due to sinful activities can be immediately eradicated by the chanting of the Lord's holy name. The Supreme Personality of Godhead never leaves the hearts of those who give up all sinful behavior and chant his holy name. Even if such chanting is not yet perfect, devotees who always remain in the Lord's service will gradually come to the stage of prema nishtha, or steady love of Godhead. Then they are to be considered Mahabhagavats, or pure devotees of the Lord. So this is the most important service, chanting of the holy names. Most important and most powerful purifying process, chanting of the holy names. And see how now it's 11th canto, slowly, it is getting towards 12th canto and towards the end of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the very last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is about glories of holy name. See how Shukdev Goswami is taking Parikshit Maharaj towards chanting of the holy names. And through Parikshit Maharaj, to all of us, he is going to stress this most important aspect. And then comes Chaitanya Charitamrita with his Mahaprabhu came to establish the chanting of the holy names. So that's all we have to do. And rest everything, whether it is reading of scriptures, doing some services, association, dham yatra, they all are basically to encourage us, motivate us more to chant more, chant properly, chant lovingly, offenselessly. Everything is geared towards that only. So chant. Okay, I guess now ends the purpose to 11th canto, 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Maharaj Nimi Meets the Nine Yogendras. So I guess actually I'm leaving day after tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll be going someplace in the evening, and then from there I'll take the airplane flight next day. So no class tomorrow either. So we'll see you after Janmashtami, and we'll start the 3rd chapter, liberation from the illusory energy, liberation from Maya. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.